Welcome everyone to the Flow Tao Salon. Today we're going to dive deep into the future of flight by breaking down the 2025 to 2044 commercial market outlook. It's this huge 20-year roadmap for the skies put together by the experts over at Boeing.
So, after a global pandemic literally brought air travel to a standstill, it's the big question, right? What does the future actually hold for our skies? Well, as it turns out, the answer is a pretty incredible story of massive growth and transformation.
But, to really get a handle on where we're going, we first need to look back at the industry's amazing ability to bounce back from just about anything. And trust me, this is not the first major challenge commercial aviation has ever faced. What's so amazing about this chart is how it shows you that resilience in action. I mean, despite these historic shocks, like 9/11, financial crises, and of course the pandemic, you can see it right there. Air traffic has consistently, and I mean consistently, recovered and just snapped right back to its long-term growth path. Just let that sink in for a second. Even with all that turmoil, over the last quarter century, passenger traffic has tripled. This proven strength, this ability to bounce back, is the very foundation for the massive growth Boeing is projecting for the next 2 decades.
So, what's actually fueling this super optimistic forecast?
Well, there are a few really powerful engines driving this whole thing forward. The number one driver, the big one, is the explosive growth in emerging markets. We're seeing this rising global middle class, especially in places like Asia, Africa, and Latin America. And it's making air travel possible for millions of people for the very first time. It's huge. Traffic connected to these markets now makes up 60% of the entire global total.
And it's not just that. We're also seeing these other key shifts in the industry. You've got the huge expansion of low-cost carriers, the budget airlines, which are making tickets way more affordable. And at the same time, airlines are getting way more efficient, flying their planes more hours every single day to keep up with demand.
So with all this growth, what does the future fleet of planes actually look like? Like, how many new airplanes are we really talking about filling our skies? Okay, get ready for this, because the number is just staggering. The forecast shows a need for over 43,000 new commercial airplanes to be delivered by 2044. That is a massive, massive undertaking for the entire industry. And get this, the vast majority of these planes, a full 76%, are going to be those versatile single-aisle jets. These are the real workhorses of the industry, They're perfect for all those high-frequency domestic flights and shorter international trips that are just booming right now. And here's where it gets really interesting. That demand for all those new planes, it's split almost perfectly down the middle. About half are for expanding the fleet to meet all this new demand, and the other half are for replacing older, less efficient jets. And that leads us to a really crucial point. We're on the verge of a massive fleet renewal. Over the next 20 years, almost 80% of the planes flying today are going to be replaced. And that means a huge industry-wide push for better fuel efficiency and lower emissions. But this growth isn't happening everywhere at the same pace. Not at all. The center of gravity in aviation is shifting, and it's shifting dramatically. It's basically redrawing the world map. So while you've got the mature markets, like North America and Europe, focusing mostly on just replacing their older planes, it's the emerging markets that are driving the powerful demand for actual fleet growth. And this slide just illustrates that contrast perfectly. I mean, look at these numbers. It's night and day. South and Southeast Asia are projected to grow at a staggering 7% every single year, while a mature market like North America is looking at more modest growth that's really focused on replacement. And if you need just one sentence to sum up this fundamental shift, this quote from the report is it. Within 2 decades, over half, more than 50% of the world's entire commercial fleet will be based in what we now call emerging markets. That is a game changer for global economic and travel patterns. Okay, that was a lot of info. So let's boil it all down. If you're going to remember 3 key things from this entire forecast, what should they be? Okay, first, the sheer scale of the demand is just off the charts. The global fleet is going to nearly double. Second, the engine of all that growth has decisively shifted to emerging markets. And third, all of this is happening alongside a massive push for efficiency as airlines replace those older planes. These are the 3 powerful forces shaping the future of aviation. Ultimately, this isn't just a story about technology or economics. It's really a story about how our world is becoming more interconnected than it has ever been before. This kind of growth opens up brand new possibilities for travel, for trade, and for human connection, completely redrawing the map of our global community.
Thank you for joining this explainer from the Float House Salon. We'll see you next time.